Atomic Habits Summary. Part 1. The Fundamentals. Why Tiny Changes Make a Big Difference. Introduction. The Surprising Power of Atomic Habits. James Clear introduces the concept of atomic habits, small, incremental daily routines or behaviors that, when compounded over time, produce remarkable results. He emphasizes that you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. This key insight shifts the focus from ambitious goal setting to building strong daily processes. Clear starts with a compelling story about the British cycling team, who transformed from mediocrity to global dominance by focusing on tiny, 1% improvements in every area. This aggregation of marginal gains illustrates how even the smallest tweaks can lead to massive change. He introduces a key visual metaphor, the ice cube effect, how change feels stagnant until a critical threshold is crossed, at which point results appear suddenly. This represents the plateau of latent potential, where you must persist with habits even before results are visible. Chapter 1. The Surprising Power of Atomic Habits. Clear explains that habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. Just as money multiplies through compound interest, the effects of your habits multiply over time. He underscores the power of small wins, and the danger of bad habits compounding negatively. Key points. Improvements of just 1% per day will result in a person becoming 37 times better after 1 year. Bad habits are the result of small choices, not sudden downfalls. Time magnifies the margin between success and failure. Insight. Focus on systems, not goals. Goals are the results you want to achieve. Systems are the processes that lead to those results. Chapter 2. How your habits shape your identity, and vice versa. This chapter introduces the critical idea that true behavior change is identity change. Most people focus on what they want to achieve, outcomes, instead of who they wish to become, identity. Clear breaks down behavior change into 3 levels: outcomes, results, for example, losing weight; processes, systems, for example, going to the gym; identity, beliefs, for example, being a healthy person. The most powerful way to change your habits is to focus on who you wish to become, not what you want to achieve. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you want to become. Insight. Don't say, I want to run a marathon. Say, I am a runner. Chapter 3. How to Build Better Habits in 4 Simple Steps. Clear outlines the habit loop, which is based on behavior science. The 4 stages are: cue, triggers the brain to initiate a behavior; craving, the motivational force behind the behavior; response, the actual behavior; reward, the benefit gained from the behavior. These steps become automatic over time. He introduces the 4 laws of behavior change, which are essential to building good habits and breaking bad ones. Stage. Good habit principle. Bad habit principle. Inversion. Cue. Make it obvious. Make it invisible. Craving. Make it attractive. Make it unattractive. Response. Make it easy. Make it difficult. Reward. Make it satisfying. Make it unsatisfying. Insight. These laws provide a toolkit for transforming any habit. Chapter 4. The Man Who Didn't Look Right. This chapter emphasizes the power of awareness. Clear shares a story about a paramedic who noticed subtle cues to detect when something was wrong before anyone else. This illustrates how much of our behavior is unconscious and automatic. Clear introduces the Habit Scorecard, a method of evaluating your daily behaviors. Simply write down your daily habits and label each as positive, neutral, or negative. This self-awareness helps you recognize behaviors you perform without thinking. Insight. Awareness is the first step in change. You can't change a habit you don't recognize. Chapter 5. The Best Way to Start a New Habit. Here, Clear introduces 2 powerful techniques: implementation intentions. Create a clear plan using the formula: I will, behavior, at, time, in, location. Habit stacking. Link a new habit to a current one, after, current habit, I will, new habit. This creates contextual cues that make new habits more likely to stick. Insight. Don't rely on motivation. Use specific cues and triggers. Chapter 6. Motivation is overrated. Environment often matters more. Clear emphasizes that environment design often beats motivation. People often make decisions based on what's in front of them. Rearranging your surroundings can have a powerful impact. Examples. Want to eat healthier? Put fruits on the counter and hide junk food. Want to read more? Leave your book on your pillow. The key idea is to make the cues for good habits visible and obvious, while removing cues for bad ones. Insight. Design beats willpower. Shape your surroundings to support the person you want to become. Chapter 7. The Secret to Self-Control. Contrary to popular belief, self-control is a short-term strategy, not a long-term solution. The best way to break a bad habit is to avoid exposure to the cue in the first place. Key point: disciplined people are better at structuring their lives to require less discipline. Insight: the most effective form of self-control is avoiding temptation altogether. Chapter 8: How to make a habit irresistible. This chapter introduces the concept of dopamine-driven feedback loops. Habits become attractive when they're associated with pleasure or reward. Anticipation, not the actual reward, triggers the dopamine surge. Desire is the engine that drives behavior. The role of dopamine: when your brain anticipates a reward, dopamine levels spike. This spike motivates you to act, not the reward itself. The more craving a habit generates, the more likely it is to stick. To leverage this, Clear suggests temptation bundling. Pair something you want to do with something you need to do. Example: only watch Netflix while running on a treadmill. Formula: after habit I need, I will habit I want. This technique enhances motivation by linking immediate pleasure to productive actions. Insight: you can make habits more appealing by engineering anticipation. Focus on the feeling you get before you do the habit. Chapter 9: The role of family and friends in shaping your habits. Clear explores the social forces behind habits. Humans are tribal by nature, and our behavior is heavily influenced by the people around us. We imitate the close, family, friends; the many, peer groups; the powerful, people we admire. To make habits stick, join a group where the desired behavior is the norm. You already have something in common with the group. This creates a sense of belonging, which reinforces the behavior. Examples: want to get fit? Join a gym or running club. Want to read more? Join a book club or online community. Insight: surround yourself with people who have the habits you want to develop. One of the most effective things you can do to build better habits is to join a culture where your desired behavior is the normal behavior. Chapter 10: How to find and fix the causes of your bad habits. This chapter digs into the psychology of cravings. All habits begin with a cue that leads to a craving, which is really a desire to change your internal state. You don't crave the habit, you crave the state it delivers. For example, you don't crave smoking, you crave relief from stress. You don't crave social media, you crave connection or distraction. The solution: reframe your mindset around habits. Instead of, I have to do this, say, I get to do this. This positive framing makes habits more attractive and enjoyable, increasing the likelihood of follow-through. Insight: every craving is linked to a deeper emotional need. Understand the need, and you can redirect the behavior. Chapter 11: Walk slowly, but never backward. Clear explains that repetition, not perfection, is what builds habits. The more often you repeat an action, the more ingrained it becomes. Key point: habits are formed based on frequency, not time. Many people focus on how long it takes to build a habit, for example, 21 days, but Clear argues that how often you do it matters more than how long. The learning curve of habits: each time you repeat a habit, your brain creates and strengthens neural pathways. Eventually, the behavior becomes automatic. Insight: take action. Motion, planning, thinking doesn't produce results, action does. Focus on reps, not results. Chapter 12: The law of least effort. Humans naturally gravitate toward the path of least resistance. Clear emphasizes that to build better habits, we must make them as easy as possible. Prime your environment, prepare your space so that the good habit is the easiest option. Example: want to read more? Place your book on your pillow each morning. Reduce friction, lower the energy barrier between you and the behavior. Example: want to exercise? Sleep in your workout clothes. Clear introduces the concept of decisive moments, tiny choices that set the course of your day. Insight: design your environment to make the right choice, the easy choice. Chapter 13: How to stop procrastinating by using the 2-minute rule. This chapter introduces one of the most powerful tools in the book, the 2-minute rule. When you start a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to do. The idea is to scale down habits to their smallest version, making them too easy to fail. Examples: read a book, read 1 page; run 3 miles, put on running shoes. Once you start, the momentum will often carry you forward. Clear calls this a gateway habit, the tiny action that leads into the full routine. Insight: standardize before you optimize. Make showing up the priority. Chapter 14: How to make good habits inevitable and bad habits impossible. This chapter focuses on automation and commitment devices. Automate good habits. Set up systems that remove decision-making. Example: use automatic savings, recurring meal plans, or digital scheduling. Use commitment devices. These are choices you make in the present that lock in your future behavior. Examples: Cancel a Netflix subscription to avoid binge watching. Set a public deadline or accountability contract. Insight: pre-commitment eliminates temptation and builds consistency.